Thank you to everyone for coming out to this second quarterly breakfast this morning. This is the third event that NYC Builds Bio Plus has sponsored, and they've all been sold out, so we really appreciate your support and your participation. A special thank you to Kate Merton and J Labs for hosting us this morning. Really appreciate this beautiful venue that we're in, and also the breakfast and the tours that they provided, so thank you very much. Want to thank TEC Systems, our sponsor for this breakfast, and all of the corporate and individual members who have responded to our call for membership. Your support is what makes these activities possible, and we really appreciate your participation. We want you to be put on your calendars March 11th for our member networking reception. We'll be making an announcement about a leadership council and some working groups where everybody can get involved at that event, and so we want to be sure that you make it. Some of you may have seen our first quarterly newsletter, which went out at the beginning of January. It highlighted some of the developments in the New York City life science real estate market over the last several years, and I just wanted to open this breakfast by sharing some of them with you because a lot has developed over the last 13 years or so, and 2019 promises to be a very big year. So all of this effort about building a life science cluster really began in 2005 when the New York City EDC gave a conditional designation to Alexandria Real Estate Equities as the developer of the East River Science Park. That project is now the Alexandria Center for Life Sciences, and it is the centerpiece of the city's efforts to build a life science cluster here. That was followed in 2013 by the foundation of Harlem Biospace up in Manhattanville, which is an incubator for startups. And then in 2016, the state and the city really stepped up their efforts by creating some substantial programs, $650 million at the state level and $500 million at the city level, to boost life science development in the city. And then in 2017, there were further developments with the opening of Launch Labs, another incubator at the Alexandria Center, and Biolabs at NYU, which will open later this year. And of course, J Labs opened a 30,000 square foot facility, which some of you will have tours of this morning. And there's one more accelerator coming to the city, IndieBio, which is looking for a space right now and hopefully will locate somewhere close by. There's been a lot of company activity as well in terms of formation in the city, which is very, very important because companies that are emerging from the incubators and the accelerators and getting to that mid-sized level, attracting substantial venture capital and moving into larger facilities. Those companies really haven't been present in New York City until now. But in 2015, several of them began to emerge, and they are very, very good stories. So Calliope closed a Series A round of $44 million. Kairos Therapeutics also attracted a substantial financing. In 2016, we saw Petra Pharma Corporation with $48 million, Lodo Therapeutics, Intercept Pharmaceuticals, and this was followed by secondary rounds for Calliope in 2018, and also the formation of Quentis Therapeutics and Magnolia Neurosciences, which actually was a startup from Texas that located in New York. And then just recently, in 2019, we've had a big announcement of Hybercell, which just closed a $60 million Series A round led by Arch Ventures, and the EDC put the first $1.2 million investment into this company from their biotech fund. So this was another major step forward, and Hybercell actually located in the Hudson Research Center, which is a recently opened life science facility for small companies like this at 519 West 54th Street. So this was a big announcement. And in response to some of these developments on the company and the financing side, we've seen a number of developments floated in the press or announced. And it remains to be seen which of these will actually be completed, but Alexandria is still leading the way. They acquired the Pfizer building at 219 East 42nd Street. They've acquired the Bindery building in Long Island City, and they've announced the plans to complete the third tower at the Alexandria Life Sciences Center. Vornado and Related is talking about targeting life science tenants at the Farley building. We had Vornado at our quarterly breakfast in the fall to talk about that. Taconic and Silverstein have converted the Movie Lab building at 519 West 54th Street into the Hudson Research Center. King Street Properties is looking at a development in Long Island City. Milstein Properties and Grand Central Tech are talking about doing something on East 43rd Street. And the Janus Property company is developing about 1.1 million square feet in a mixed-use development up in the Manhattan Factory District. So there's space coming online. As some of you know, if you attended the symposium last June, there's basically a 0% vacancy rate in New York City right now, and with 60 to 70 companies coming out of the accelerators and incubators in the next several years, we're going to need space for them. And that's one of the reasons that NYC Builds Bio was formed. And I also want to recognize my steering committee members and fellow founders, John Mechanic, Fried Frank, Mitch Simpler of JBB. Cleet, you are here from SABI. You want to put your hand up? And Hunter Roberts, Brian Aroni from Hunter Roberts. Thank you all. Now I want to introduce Mitch Simpler, who will tell you a little bit about this meeting and how it's going to go, and introduce our hostess, Kate Merton.
Good morning, all. This morning's meeting is intended to highlight three of New York City's premier independent life science organizations that are driving New York life sciences sector forward. Johnson & Johnson Innovation, aka JLabs, the New York Stem Cell Foundation, and the third project will be the New York Genome Center. Both JLabs and the Genome Center are both located in this building. JLabs is a no-strings-attached incubator catalyzing startup companies in biotech, pharmaceutical, medical device, and consumer health. The New York Stem Cell Foundation is accelerating cures for major diseases through stem cell research. The New York Genome Center is furthering genomic research that will lead to therapies for patients with neurodegenerative, neuropsychiatric diseases and cancer, leveraging its high-throughput sequencing capability in genome sequencing, genomic analysis, and genomic tools. All three organizations are working to solve the challenges of creating physical environments where science and innovation can thrive. This event will highlight the work of these important New York City institutions, as well as the challenges faced by them and their partner design and real estate professionals in the selection, design, and build-out of facilities that support their programming and science needs. The closing discussion this morning will provide an update on New York City Builds Bio Plus, our membership program, the 2019 calendar events, the establishment of working groups, and invite you, our community, to participate.